Alright, here's another Part 107 test review video. We're going to be talking about TAF reports. If you haven't seen the last two TAF report videos, go ahead and check those out. In this one, we're going to be looking at the KOKC TAF report from Figure 15. In the previous ones, we looked at the KMEM TAF reports. So we had 4 practice problems from those. But okay, so with these TAF reports, I think I'll just sort of dive into what the TAF report is saying, and then we can go ahead and look at the 2 practice problems that I have prepared. So let's go ahead and jump in. If we take this line by line, first, if we're looking at line number 1, we can see that it has that airport code, the K followed by the 3 letters of the airport. Knowing which TAF report to be looking at, we know we can match those 2 up. We can see, okay, this is the TAF report that we want. Basically, the second thing that is in the TAF report is the date and time in which it's issued. So it looks like on the 5th of whatever month this was issued at 11:30 Zulu, which is 11:30 a.m. And then the time period, the range in which it's valid from. So from the 5th at 1200, so 12 p.m., basically noon, to the 6th at 1800 hours, which is 6 p.m. So this means that it was issued 30 minutes before it's actually active. Remember that TAF reports are predictions that are 24 to 30 hours ahead of time versus METARs are what the current weather is. We're issuing this report 30 minutes before it's active, and then it's active for 30 hours. Right off the bat, starting at 1200 hours on the 5th, it looks like the direction of our wind is going to be 140 degrees, and then it's 8 knots is the velocity. We have 5 statute miles of visibility, and then we have BR, baby rain, which is mist. And then the clouds are broken. We add those 2 zeros, so broken at 3,000 feet. When you see that tempo, that means temporarily. So this is something that doesn't last for very long. So temporarily from the 5th at 1300 hours to the 5th at 1600 hours. So from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The visibility is going to reduce to 1.5 statute miles. And we're going to have mist still. So that's the entirety of the first line in our TAF report. So you can see that we start off with some wind. We have pretty good visibility, 5 statute miles, mist, broken clouds at 3,000 feet. And then our visibility goes down, but we still have that mist. Moving on to the second line. So from the 5th at 1600 hours, so that's 4 p.m. So what this is saying is that this is valid from 1200 hours to 1600 hours. And at 1600 hours, there becomes some sort of change in our weather. And then also it tells you that from 1300 to 16 hours, we have some change in the visibility. At 1600 hours, we change the direction of our wind. It's now 180 degrees as opposed to 140 degrees. And it's now 10 knots. So it's sped up a little bit. Our visibility is greater than 6 statute miles. Remember, that's what that P means. It looks like we have clear sky. Clear sky. That's what that SKC is. And then it becomes, or becoming, so now it gives us another range. So from the 5th at 2200 hours to the 5th at 2400 hours, so basically from 10 p.m. to midnight, it looks like our wind is changing to 200 degrees at 13 knots, and then gusts at 20 knots, 4 statute miles of visibility, and then we have some weather conditions here. So remember, we have that little chart that you should try to memorize. So this is rain showers, and it looks like our cloud coverage is overcast at 2,000 feet. That is line number 2. So let's move on to line number 3. So here it's saying there's a 40% chance that from the 6th at 100 hours, so like this very start of the day, to the 6th at 0600 hours, so 6 a.m., our visibility is going to be 2 statute miles. We're going to have thunderstorms and rain. We're going to have overcast skies with a ceiling at 800 feet. And we're going to have cumulonimbus clouds. I'll just abbreviate it CB for the time being, which becomes at the 6th from 0600 hours to the 6th at 0800 hours. The wind changes slightly. Now it's at 210 degrees and the speed is at 15 knots. We have greater than 6 statute miles of visibility, and we have scattered clouds. Scattered clouds with a ceiling of 4,000 feet. And that is the summary of our TAF report. This one is slightly easier than our last one, where we had like 5 lines to go through versus now we just have 3. There's just fewer things going on in that 30-hour span at that airport as opposed to the other one. Okay, so if we look at our actual problem, it says in the TAF from KOKC, the clear sky becomes, and then we have 3 options here. So clear sky, where is it clear? It looks like it's a clear sky here. So we're looking for when this becomes no longer clear. After the clear sky, it looks like from 2200 to 2400, we're getting winds, gusts, rain showers, and overcast 2,000 feet. So that might be a good indicator of an answer that we would want to look for within all the possible answers. So let's look at A. It looks like clear sky becomes overcast 2,000 feet during the forecast period between 2200 Zulu and 2400 Zulu. That looks like the exact correct answer, right? So notice here it says it's exactly what I underlined. 2200, 2400, overcast 2,000 feet. I can find it within our TAF. It is here. Becoming between these 2 time periods, overcast, and then we add those 2 zeros at a ceiling of 2,000 feet. Okay, why are B and C incorrect? So B is incorrect. First of all, it says it's overcast at 200 feet. That's not right. This 20, you append those 2 zeros, it becomes 2,000 feet. So that's wrong just based on that. It's also wrong if you continue reading. It says it becomes overcast at 600 feet. That's not true. This becoming, these 2 numbers following it refer to the date and the time. So this is the 6th at 0600 hours. This isn't the cloud coverage. The cloud coverage will typically have one of those cloud contractions like SKC or few or scattered, broken, OVC, and then a number. It won't have like this dash in it. C is incorrect. Once again, it says it's overcast at 200 feet. That's not true. It's 2,000 feet. Probability of being overcast at 400 feet. I think this answer is trying to trip you up by saying that if you didn't know what this 40 meant, maybe you appended a 0 to it and you thought it was 400 feet, but then no, there's a 40% chance of 2 statute miles, thunderstorms, and rain. This is also incorrect. So the right answer for this first practice problem is A. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the second practice problem. The second practice problem says in the TAF from KOKC, the from group is forecast for the hours from 1600 Zulu to 2200 with the wind from, let's go ahead and figure out if we can figure this out. So it's saying from 1600 Zulu to 2200 Zulu. So where is that the case? It looks like here we're at 1600. Notice we have a change in the wind conditions at 2200 through 2400. So it looks like this section here is what we want to be looking for the wind conditions. This will give us the wind conditions from the 1600 to 2200. So it looks like it's 180 degrees, 10 knots. How did I figure that out? The reason why is this previous section is from 1200 to 1600 Zulu, which is too early. At that point, it's all of the wind conditions that are before 4 p.m., which is what I want to look at. Then the second line, we see that there's this from group. The from group is from the 5th at 1600 hours. So that's exactly what we want to look for. Here's our wind conditions. And then it tells us that starting from 2200 hours, there's going to be these other wind conditions. So from 1600 to 2200, this is exactly what we're looking for. So let's see if there are any answers that match this. 180 degrees for the direction and 10 knots for the velocity. And it looks like this first answer is correct. So why are these other 2 answers incorrect? It's not 180 degrees at 10 knots becoming 200 at 13 knots. The reason why you might think this might be the answer is there's this becoming, and then it's got that 200 degrees at 13 knots that is mentioned in the answer, but notice it only says from 1600 to 2200. So this wind direction is from 2200 to 2400. It's not the valid range that we're looking for. So if this had said the forecast from 1600 Zulu to 2400 Zulu, then this would be right, because this would have been the conditions from 1600 Zulu to 2200 Zulu, and then this would have been the wind conditions from 2200 Zulu to 2400 Zulu. Okay, so that one is incorrect. C is incorrect. This has the wrong direction. It's not 160 degrees. Maybe you could have picked that out by thinking that this 1600 was the wind direction, but no, you want to look at this section of the TAF. Hopefully that helps you with these TAF problems. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I'll get back to you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.